This happens quite a bit. You know, we see Sony come out with a game, and then a little while later, it gets announced for Xbox, and then it's also coming to Xbox Game Pass. Shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, as we see that happen quite a bit now. Obviously, Microsoft, this happens to them as well. I'm not like making fun of PlayStation for this or anything like that. I'm just stating the fact that, hey, you know what, this does happen, and that's why I don't go around touting these third-party games, these little games and things like that, and the mid-sized games. They end up everywhere. I've said this time and time again. Small devs can only make one version at a time. They make a version, and then, you know, a little while later, you know, the other console version comes out. It's not rocket science. I'm not mad about it. You know, this is one of the times where it pays off for Xbox, but there's other times where, you know, it pays off for Sony. Even stuff like High on Life. You know, I never bragged about the game. It didn't score very well. I haven't even played it, but it came at a time when Xbox had pretty much next to nothing in terms of first-party content that year. But even then, there's no use bragging about it because you knew it was going to go to PlayStation at some point anyway. It's like the same thing with all these other games. At some point, it's all going to come to the other platform, and so it really makes zero sense to sit there and brag about it and talk about it like it's something special. Again, this Stalker 2 game, right, looks like it's going to be probably a pretty big game, probably a pretty nice looking game, probably score pretty well. But at the same time, I'm not the type of person that's going to sit there and talk about this game and brag about it like it's some kind of de facto Xbox exclusive. Same thing with, like, if you ever want to get technical about it, look at what Microsoft was doing, or excuse me, what PlayStation fanboys were doing with the Baldur's Gate 3 thing. Pseudo exclusive because it wasn't coming to Xbox at the exact same time. So everybody was kind of talking about it, hyping it up as this big PlayStation exclusive. Of course, nobody actually went out and bought it on PlayStation. It didn't do well. It's not in the top played games over there or anything like that. So that was always kind of a funny situation. But again, seeing games come straight to Game Pass, pretty cool to see that happen. And this was one that, you know, had a little bit of hype going into it. Rollerdrome is coming to Xbox in November, and it's going to be on Game Pass. The single-player roller skating action game, which was developed by Ali Studio Roll 7, is coming to Xbox Series X and S on November 28th. According to a tweet from official Rollerdrome Twitter account, the game will also be available on Game Pass that same day on console. Rollerdrome was originally released on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Steam in August of 2022. The game puts players in the role of Kara Hassan, who's taking part in a futuristic sport called Rollerdrome, in which participants have to shoot each other while pulling off tricks on roller skates. Players are encouraged to play violently and stylishly because health is regained by collecting pickups from killed enemies, and ammunition is refilled by performing tricks. It uses cel-shaded art styles, and its developers have cited Rollerball and The Running Man as major influences. The game's director, Paul Rabidi, has also described it as a cross between Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Doom. Rollerdrome was met with general critic acclaim, and Metacritic has a score of 81. It also won the award for Best British Game at the 2023 BAFTA Game Awards. So, again, nice to see that these games are coming everywhere as well, because that's, I think, a very important thing for, you know, the industry. You know, these small developers really, I think, kind of strive on the ability to have their games everywhere at a particular point. But also, that isn't the only bit of news. We got a little bit of confirmation. Although this game isn't going to be in Game Pass, it still is confirmed to be on Xbox this year, which I think a lot of people maybe should look forward to. So if you were looking for an update on Baldur's Gate 3, it's still on track to hit Xbox this year. They said they're going to announce the exact release date when they're sure it's done. The studio founder, CEO Sven Vinke provided an update to the delayed version, said the latest on Xbox, being actively playtested, still scheduled for this year. We'll announce the exact release date when we're sure it's done. Baldur's Gate 3 was released on PC in August and PS5 in September. The Xbox game release held up as Larian struggled to do split-screen co-op work and to the same standard on Series X and S. Following a meeting with Microsoft head of gaming in August, they announced that the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate 3 will arrive later this year after split-screen co-op was removed as a feature on Series S. Larian had previously said on several occasions that it believed Microsoft required full feature parity between the Series X and S versions of the game. However, Xbox boss Phil Spencer later suggested that feature parity wasn't actually a requirement, and that he doesn't see a world where the Series S has to miss out on certain games. Spencer told Eurogamer, and I quote, "We're taking feedback from devs, including Larian. I met with them today to talk about it, and I'm confident we're going to find a good solution and we're going to learn. I don't see a world where we drop S. In terms of parity, I don't think you've heard from us or Larian that this was about parity. I think that's more that the community is talking about. There are features that ship on X today that do not ship on S, even from our own games, like ray tracing that works on that works on X, but not on S on certain games." So they make sure that, everybody is kind of, in the same kind of loop and things like that. I think that's a very smart thing to do as a fan. You want to make sure that that these games have different things like this. To me, listen, I never bought into the hype, and I'm sure that there's some people that really love Baldur's Gate, and maybe they're console gamers too. I'm a console gamer first, and just only, so I don't play on PC or anything. So these types of games, the isometric RPGs, they don't mean anything to me personally. I just couldn't care less about them. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. To me, they don't mean anything. I don't like them. So it didn't matter to me whether this game came to Xbox or not. But once it started scoring really good scores, it became, console war fodder. And at that point, it's like, well, you hope that, it just does come to Xbox so that it stops some of the nonsense. And obviously, they are doing that. And, it didn't end up selling very well on PlayStation. I don't even think it cracked the top 20. I don't expect it to sell very well on Xbox. I don't know. These types of games always seem more like a PC thing. So it's not something that I'm looking at and going, oh man, this is, phenomenal. I can't wait to play it or whatever. The people that I've seen that were really supposedly enjoying this game were all people that play mostly on PC. So that's sort of that for me. It's never going to be my bag to play on these other types of ways, so hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm sure it's a fine game for what it is. Just for me, it's not a game that I really care about. So hopefully you guys understand that, understand where I'm coming from with that. It's nothing personal. If you like these types of games, by all means, I hope you enjoy it. Play the hell out of it. Enjoy it. I think that's great. For me, like I said, it's not something that I actually care about or actually want to play. So, I'm not going to play it. But like with Rollerdrome, I'm happy that that's coming to Xbox. It makes sense. I figured that it would. So, I'm going to give it a try, especially since it's going to Game Pass. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.